Alrighty, y'all. First of all, hello and thank you so much for coming today. If anybody doesn't know, we're live streaming this via Google Hangouts, so it's going to all the international family equality events around the world. So welcome to our giant family meeting. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ash. I did a Ignite Boulder event about 2 months ago on not using gay as a negative word. And that took off, went a little bit viral. It's a word that we shouldn't use as much. It dilutes its meaning. When you say it, you should mean it. Today I'm super excited to get to talk about a word that I think is so great, a word that we should use a lot more. I love to shout from the mountaintops, and that word is family. For any of you that know me, you can attest, the word family means so much to me. There are a few things that are more important than that. The way that I learned about family was from my childhood family. It was pretty idyllic when it started. My parents were high school sweethearts. They met at a YMCA dance when they were 16. They're madly in love with each other. They just celebrated their 44th wedding anniversary. So I grew up in this world. It was going great. My dad coached my softball teams. My mom helped me make student government posters. My little sister was at the very least tolerable. We cruised along really well for about 25 years. And then, all of a sudden, it happened. I fell in love. I fell in love like I had never done before in my life. Fireworks going off, every time you kiss, butterflies in your stomach, every cheesy love song on the radio meant something. The only glitch, the only hiccup was I fell in love with a woman. And that was not part of my family's script. We had gone along for so long and everything was just fine, and then there was this hiccup. So I kept it to myself. I knew it rocked the boat, possibly irreparably. So I said nothing for a while. And then that thing that so often happens with first loves happened. My heart got broken. So I went to a place I knew I could. I went to my sister. That one who was barely tolerable when I was a kid was now my best friend. So, heart obliterated, eyes swollen from crying, I walked up to her and said, "Man, I'm gay." And she looked at me and said, "Well, from the look on your face, I knew you were either gay or pregnant." That was actually the second thing she said. The first thing she said was, "I love you." She hugged me. And she hugged me in the same way she'd hugged me her entire life. My whole world was upside down. Nothing was the same, but this was the same. It hadn't changed. And I was filled with such hope in that moment that things could stay the same. And that's how I'd always known my family. They're in the clutch, on your side, no matter what. Now, my parents took a little bit longer. In the months that I kept it from them, we grew distant. My mom and I would just talk about everything. I was in love with this new amazing woman, but I couldn't say anything. We would go through, how's work, how's your day, how's the weather, but not the nitty-gritty. And that need to be closer to my family, and that need to close that distance, finally hit a tipping point, and I told them, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay." And it rocked the boat. This was not the script that they had written for their kid. But I always saw my parents as like one unit. They just did everything kind of at the same time in synchronicity. But they came from really different perspectives. My mom had been in the fashion industry her entire life. She knew plenty of gay people. She loved theater. Our interior designer was gay. But her kid, that's a different story. My dad was having less of an issue of me being gay and had been taught his entire life that homosexuality was wrong. He was trying to reconcile how to deal with that in our family. So my parents drew on their incredible love for one another, their incredible love for our family, that was the most important thing. And they knew they had to get through it, they had to figure it out, and they did. One of the hardest things they did was to come out to their friends. They were born and raised in Toledo, Ohio. Some of their friends, same friends they had had since grade school, and nobody had a gay kid. Nobody. So in the conversations we had, I was like, well, I hope your friends don't think differently because I'm gay, differently of me because I'm gay. I hope they think differently of gay people because now they know one. And that really resonated with my parents and with their friends. So one by one, conversation by conversation, dinner by dinner, my parents shared their story, my story, our family story. And that led them to changing the minds of the people that they were friends with. It became personal, and that's when change happens. So where are we now, 15 plus years later? I work with my parents every summer. We're closer than ever. My sister is still my best friend. They've welcomed every woman I've ever loved into our family with open arms. My mom was even the one that told me when Meredith Baxter Burney came out. "Honey, did you see that on the Today Show? With Matt Lauer, it's so great. And also, you look great in that black suit with that pink shirt." It was, nothing had changed. She was still my mom. I feel so incredibly lucky of the journey that they have made. I learned a couple of things from my childhood family. First, unconditional love. Even when it's hard, the most important thing is that love. That's what steadied our boat. I know a lot of people don't have that. I feel incredibly lucky that I do. Second thing, this thing about me, my gayness, was so real, so true, so honest, that it is something that I was willing to walk away from my family for. I could not live a lie, not even for the three most important people of my life. And if I would not lie for them, I would lie for no one. And lastly, that you can choose the people that you can surround yourself with. Just because they're your blood relatives doesn't mean they have to be part of your family. You choose how you want to be loved, how you want to be treated, how you want to be respected. You have the power to surround yourself with only people that believe in your greatness. Luckily, my family did that. So that leads me to my second version of family, my chosen family. Now this group is a little bit more ragtag. We have done all the things that families do together even though we have no common ancestry. We've lived together, we've shared bathrooms together, we've gone on road trips together, we've comforted each other, we've let each other down, we've picked each other up, we've been at weddings and funerals and births together. We've cried and we have most certainly laughed until we've cried together. I feel the same unconditional love for these people that I feel for my given family. To not use the word family to describe these people would undermine what they mean to me, the impact that they have had on my life. They are there in the clutch all the time too. A perfect example is this weekend. My 40th birthday was a couple days ago, and unbeknownst to me, all of my friends in town stepped up and had an amazing party. Also, friends from all over the world came in, literally. Somebody from Seattle, somebody from Oakland, somebody from Amsterdam, just to say how much they love me. That is the power of family. One of the local families I'm really proud to be a part of is the Southside Walnut Cafe family, and the Walnuts in general. Not only are they the best breakfast restaurants in town, the sense of family there is undeniable. I do a guest appearance from now, time and again, but not too long ago I was there full time. And depending on the length of my hair and the bagginess of my cargo shorts, I would often get the question, are you a boy or are you a girl? And it would freeze the table. The mom would shoot a quick look across the table. The kid would be awkward. The dad would pretend he got a cell phone call. And I would grit my teeth and pour coffee and pretend like I didn't hear it. But I would seethe inside. How do you come into this place that is my second home, where my family is, and ask me a question like that? What are you teaching your kid? Why do you think I wear these earrings? That is why. How do you not know any gay people? But maybe that was the case. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they weren't that different from my parents' friends back home. So after multiple conversations with my Southside family, girls, early morning coffee, late afternoon silverware rolling, I made a pact. Next time I would say something. So no matter weeks, it happens again. Are you a boy or are you a girl? Silence falls, but this time I'm ready. I am about to go all Women's Studies 101 on this table. I've got my Betty Friedan quotes. I've got my Gloria Steinem quotes. There's this little bit from Vagina Monologues I'm going to do. So I take this huge breath, and I stare down at this table, and all I see is a 4-year-old girl in a pink dress looking back at me. Is that a challenge to some feminist duel? I am not Atlas to the LGBTQ issues of our time with this 1 second to make it right. It's just a 4-year-old asking me a question. Are you a boy or are you a girl? So I squat down so we can be eye to eye, and I say, hey, I know it's a little bit confusing. I have short hair that's kind of like a boy, and I wear boys' clothes, but I'm a girl. And sometimes you just want to wear your comfy jammies, and sometimes you want to wear a dress. Well, I'm more of a comfy jammies girl than a dress kind of girl. This kid looks me dead in the eye, and without missing a beat says, my favorite pajamas are purple with fish. Can I get a pancake? That was it. There was no challenge. There wasn't anything. It was just a kid asking a question. And of course, I could have gotten on my soapbox and waxed poetic about gender expression. Maybe it would have made me feel better. The kid wouldn't have understood, and it would have made the parents feel better. And what does that do? I haven't seen these folks again. I hope I didn't scare them off. I think they were just from out of town. But the point is that they changed my perspective on the way you address things. That having a little conversation, knowing where they're coming from, figuring out what other people are saying, that's where change happens. If we wait for legislators to pass laws that are mandating acceptance, we are missing a huge opportunity to be the change ourselves. These small changes, these are changes that you all are doing every single day just by living your lives. Helping somebody see that there's a need for equality. Getting somebody to go from apathy to empathy to support for the fight for equality. I believe that the reason that the scales have tipped in favor of equality is because people know more gay people. Not necessarily because there's more gay people out there, but because people know every day in their lives someone's gay. It used to be that our allies were just our close friends and family. Well, I support equality because my sister's a lesbian, or my best friend from college is gay. That's not the case anymore. Now my pediatrician's gay, my server at the restaurant's gay, my kid's teacher is gay. That is where we are out there living our lives. You all are on the PTA, you're coaching teams, you're driving your kids and their friends to the mall, albeit disproportionately in Subarus, but still, that is what we are doing. You're out there every day. Just by living your lives honestly, you are making a change in the landscape of society that laws can't, because you're living your life with integrity and authenticity and honesty. And you have the greatest trump card of all, love for your children. I have found few things that bond people quite like love for their kids. Get on a plane from Denver to New York, sit next to a stranger, you can go the entire way and not say a word. But take out your phone and look at pictures of your kid, and this person will talk to you for 3.5 hours about children. By the time you land in LaGuardia, they're probably coming to your kid's wedding in 20 years. That is the power of family. It exemplifies the fact that the things that we have in common dwarf the things that we have different. If the guy in the cubicle next to you has kids and he knows that you were up half the night with a kid with an earache and another kid with the stomach flu, that guy doesn't care who you're sleeping with, because every parent that's been in that position knows that if you have a kid with the stomach flu and a kid with an earache, nobody's sleeping with anybody. Now that's not to say that that guy has an equality sticker on his water bottle at the office the next day, but the change in national sentiment has come from hundreds of thousands of folks and guys and gals in the cubicle next door, or parents of kids on your kid's soccer team, or any of the millions of ways that you all are impactful every single day. Never underestimate the power of your story. I beg you to share them. If not now, when? And if not us, who? If you are a gay family, tell your story. Social media, in your community, whatever you have to do. If you are a straight ally, talk about your friends, gay families, the same way that you would talk about any other family. We are out and we are there. Those conversations are not always easy. Sheryl Sandberg said in reference to change, the conversations may be difficult, but the positives are many. We cannot change what we are unaware of, but once we are aware, we cannot help but change. I honestly believe that the vast majority of people in our society believe in justice and equality and fairness. It is our responsibility to share our stories and make them aware, because once they're aware, they cannot help but change. That is the power of family. Why we are all here today, to celebrate a word and a concept and an institution that we believe so greatly in. I want to thank Family Equality Council and Andra for inviting me to speak, and all the local nonprofits for putting on this awesome event. And to all the families, whether they are here in Colorado or around the world, however you define your family, gay, straight, traditional, non-traditional, thank you for being on the side of equality. You are the difference. You are making change happen just by living your lives. We can only change what we are able to see, and the more that we are out there and the more that we connect with people, the more that that happens. On behalf of the entire equality community, I thank you for living your lives. If you can possibly be out to one more person, have one more conversation, hug one more person, reach one more life, those are the ways that we are making change happen. Thank you so much for being on our side, the side of equality, the side of love, the side of family. Our side is winning. Thank you.